I won this storage unit at an online auction for $100. Now let's see if it's worth it.
What is up, everyone? I hope you all are doing well today. In today's storage unit video, we will be going through this unit that I purchased for $100. There were a couple reasons that I purchased this unit. The first reason was for this massage fitness machine. I'm pretty sure all it does is go, It's like a modern day fat jiggler from back in the day that goes, I think it's supposed to really like move blood to certain areas of your body to help stimulate blood flow and ultimately help you burn some calories. I think these actually do work pretty well from my understanding, but I will say these are not cheap. And so as long as this works, this should pay for the entire unit right here. And honestly, it looks like it's actually in pretty good shape. I feel like these are one of those fads that people typically buy thinking they're going to use every day. They use it 5 times the first week, 4 times the second week, 3 times the third week, and by the 4th week, they kind of just use it as a clothes hanger. But in any case, hopefully this works, and I can make my money back on this unit just from this machine alone. Another reason I purchased this unit was because I could see this table was full of old memorabilia, kind of like this Indian motorcycles vintage sign. I figured if this kind of memorabilia was inside, who knows what else is inside this unit. But I thought this was pretty cool. The frame, I will say, isn't in the best shape, but this picture still looks really good. It's made of whatever material that is. It sounds like you're scratching records, but this is a Corvette Through the Ages picture right here. That is a pretty cool print of Get Your Kicks on Route 66, Main Street of America signage right here. The artwork was by Alan Airbrush. For an artist to have the last name Airbrush, talk about a coincidence. It's kind of like your local weather lady named Rainy Storm, but either way, pretty cool piece right there. Another item I saw that I thought was pretty cool was this little mini Pro Football Hall of Fame collector's helmet. Not that this mini helmet will be worth very much, but I thought if this was in here, maybe they're a collector of sports cards or other sports memorabilia, so I thought that was pretty cool. What is this? It's a pretty neat sign right there. Feature presentation. I think this is actually a newer sign. Is made to look that old. Here's a collector's edition TV guide of Elvis with a free collector's CD attached to the front. Some Elvis stuff's really collectible. I'm not sure if that is, but that's kind of neat. Fiji water is a good sign for a unit. Oh, this is kind of cool. Nice, it's in there. This is Christmas at Graceland, featuring Elvis, obviously. This is an heirloom ornament collection. That is really cool. I think that actually should be worth, I don't know, 20 to 30 bucks, I would assume. Look at this. There are several of these in here. These are kind of wild looking. That is actually really cool. The craftsmanship with this Dr. Pepper propeller plane is very impressive. It's even got a little steering wheel right there. And then here is a mellow yellow helicopter. It really is pretty impressive to do this all out of mellow yellow cans. Wow. And this is the last one I can see in this unit, but here's one made out of Coca-Cola cans. Very, very impressive. Here's one of 2 shop vacs that were in the unit. This is in really good shape. It looks like it's barely been used. Brand new, these are typically like $150. So I'm assuming for something like this, used, I should be able to get like $30 to $50 a piece for. And then here is the other shop vac right here. This one looks like it's been used a little bit more, but still in pretty good shape. Ooh, and these can be worth a little bit of money. This is a Fafana truck tent. Brand new, these can be hundreds of dollars. And this one's still new in the box, so I should be able to get anywhere from like 50 to 100 bucks for this. This is in pretty good shape. This is a rooftop cargo carrier. This is actually really cool. Seeing one of these barber poles brings me back to my childhood. Whenever my barber Juan would give me the high and tight, literally nobody did it better than him. So let me bring it out. And there is a tag that says $120 on here, so that'd be awesome if I could get that. Here's the light switch. I'll have to plug this in whenever I get home to see if it works, but I wonder if it actually moves. That probably is a dumb question. I bet it doesn't, but hopefully the wiring still works on it. Here's an air fryer, but unfortunately the handle does appear to be broken off. So probably won't be able to resell that. Not exactly sure what that goes to, but I'm assuming a lot of this is just gonna be trash. Ooh. Maybe outside of that, a vintage barrel over there, that looks pretty cool. Not exactly sure what that means. Well, I guess I do know what that means, but just kind of an odd sign, but maybe someone will want to buy that. Whoa, why is this so heavy? Good grief. This is actually very nice. This is a Dojo. This is a bread and pizza steel. That looks to be brand new, so that should be worth a little bit of money right there. And then what do we have down here? Whoa, maybe nothing's in either of those, but those are really cool and actually pretty old as well. Anything in this cooler? I don't think so. Well, there's actually 3 brand new locks. For someone who buys as many units as I do, you can never have too many locks, that's for sure. All right, now easily the 2 most exciting items so far in this unit. This super old Empire Forge chest from, it looks like 1918. And then this very old barrel. I thought this was a storage barrel. This is actually just a seat barrel, but it is really cool and very old. Unfortunately, there's only one, it appears, in here. but I would imagine I should be able to get anywhere from like 25 to 50 bucks for it. People really like those old vintage wooden barrel stools. Let me move the camera around just a little bit. It does feel like there's something in there. Not exactly sure what, but boy, is it heavy. Let's see what we got waiting on the inside. Not exactly treasures, and I don't think anything any more valuable than the chest itself. I'm assuming the chest is definitely gonna be the most valuable thing in here, but oh cool, it still works. But I will say some of the easiest stuff to sell out there are tools. Everyone's always looking for tools, especially with how expensive tools like this drill can be. So if they can get a little discount off of buying it brand new, a ton of people are out there looking for it. I'll probably get like 30 or 40 bucks for that. Cobalt drill. But other than that, that's just a bunch of old hand tools in there. Maybe I can make like 20 bucks on the rest of those tools in there. And then the crate itself, I have no idea. It could be a $50 crate, or it could be a $1,000 crate. But if it is valuable, I should be able to clean this up pretty nicely. And I gotta imagine I should be able to make this look pretty good. So hopefully this is closer to $1,000 than $100, but we will have to wait and see. But that was a really cool piece that I was not expecting to find in here. Here's a pretty cool vintage lamp that looks kind of like it's homemade. And the pull down is connected to the bucket handle, so you can just pull the bucket handle and turn it on. That is actually really, really cool. All right, we got a container right here, but first I wanted to show off this little baggie real quick. That is a really cool vintage Coca-Cola water plane right there. I guess this goes on top of here. And excuse me, I said a water plane, I meant a seaplane. And then there's a 1967 Volkswagen Bug transporter. Really cool Matchbox collection set of Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has got to be one of the most recognizable and collectible brands out there, so that'll easily be resellable. And then let's see, do we have anything in here? Nope. Looks like some flowers used to be kept in there, but we do have some other stuff down here on this table that I'll move over. We got a pretty decent looking trailer hitch. Should be able to get like 10 to 20 bucks for that. Here are a couple of purses still with their tags on them. Well, I guess that one doesn't have a price tag on it, does it? No, but that one does have a $24.99 price tag on it. And then here was a Buck Owens and his Buckaroos, your Tender Loving Care vinyl record album. What an interesting name for your band and backup singers. Then we got a bedside table right there, and then I guess another bedside table right behind it, just a little bit bigger. We've got some sort of American cars of the 50s picture right there. And then it looks like just some bedding. And then it appears like there's a couple of tents back there. Let me pull out that picture so I can show that off real quick. That is actually really cool. It's American cars of the 50s. You got a Corvette up there in the top right-hand corner, and then right below it, a station wagon. And then so many other iconic cars. Oh, there's a Studebaker over there on the left-hand side. Perfect for a man cave or someone's garage. That'll definitely be resellable. And last but not least, we are going to check these side tables because they do appear to be overflowing with stuff inside of them. All right, let's see what we got inside of here. Nothing like some fresh Star-Kissed tuna in water. Let me get a trash bag real quick. All right, after clearing out all of the trash on this top drawer, there wasn't a whole lot in here. There was a brand new deck of cards with Mickey Mouse on the front. There's a few tools, I don't know, about $2 and change, and a few cool collectible bottle openers, but overall not much in that top drawer. Let's see what we got down below. There are a bunch of these Light Stop porcelain containers. It's a cool vinyl of Keith Urban, whatever Nip Tuck is. There's that. This is kind of cool. Here's a metals die cast big time muscle of a 1987 Buick Grand National. Definitely a car guy. Here's a 1971 Chevrolet C10. Not sure how collectible those items are though. Ooh, here is a Frankenstein, one of those porcelain containers. Here is Art of the Corvette. That's kind of cool. And then 1982 GMC K2500. Looks like a stack full of Keith Urban CDs. And that basically appears to be it on that one. This one appears to be overflowing as well. So let me go through all the trash and throw all that away. And then if there is anything to show off, I will show it off once I get it all cleaned out. But if there wasn't really anything to show off, I hope you enjoyed this storage unit as much as I did, and we'll see you next time. Stay radical.